There was some other news today, which was a bit sadder. There was news of Terry Venables' death. Now, I will be honest, Terry Venables as a Spurs player, Spurs manager, Spurs chief executive was before my time. So, you know, my memories of him are as an England manager. And I have to say, very, very fond memories at the time. What he managed to achieve, the way he had us playing some fantastic football and just instilled some joy of the game back into English football at a time where it had been a little bit parochial. Guys, what are your memories of Terry Venables?
I remember Venables signing for Spurs, which I think might have been in 1967.
66,
I've been
I
a Spurs
believe.
supporter for 4 or 5 years by that time.
66.
Yeah. Was it 68?
66.
Okay. Well, he was just a very good, what was in those days called an inside forward. So an 8 or a 10 were the same in those days. You didn't have the same definition. You had played with 2 wingers, and Venables was a very, very good footballer that scored a handful of goals, not a lot of goals, but he was just a good footballer. But he was always 100%. But as a Spurs manager, and that's what I remember him most for, I guess, he adjusted his tactics to suit the team he was playing. And he was very, very, very good. And I was so sorry that he got involved in business because it was a little bit dodgy. I mean, it was a bit like Harry Redknapp on steroids when it came to being dodgy. But as a manager, he was very good. He set his teams up well. He got teams playing well. And he was always competitive. And he won us our last FA Cup.
Yeah.
You know, that's a moment. Actually, he played in the 67 FA Cup, I believe, and that was the first cup that I saw Spurs play from Newport in Wales, and he'd come over like Greavesy from Chelsea, so he's a Chelsea lad actually. But the moment that really sticks out, going back to what you just said, Oz, and I heard Venas talk about this when they were walking out before the FA Cup final against Nottingham Forest, and Cloughy was the opposing manager. And they're looking pretty good. Cloughy started saying some stuff, and Venables is just cracking up. He can't resist cracking up. And he said, yeah, you would not believe the things that Cloughy was saying. And it was just such a nice moment. 2 managers are going to go head to head, having that moment. One of the best managers in Cloughy, and what great Spurs legend, Venables. And I remember that so much. I go, gee, I wish I'd been a fly on the wall of that particular conversation. You know, I remember that. And that wasn't he? He was manager when England did pretty well at those Euros in
Euro 96.
96. And we could have won it. We could have won it that year, right?
We should have won it.
Breadth of a goalpost.
Right. Yeah. And that was when Gaza was fantastic then, right?
Gaza, excellent. McManaman, Anderton, of course, from Spurs.
Sheringham.
Yeah, Sheringham, Shearer. If anybody here has not anybody here, but anybody watching has never seen the game before, and they want to have an idea of what Terry Venables' England side was about, you look up that Euro 96 game where they played against the Netherlands. That was an amazing, amazing game. And I remember screaming myself hoarse. I just loved that game so much. It was brilliant.
I still think that is the best performance I've seen England have in an international match since the 1966 World Cup. I know we beat Germany 5-1 once, but that was
that was a pretty good game as well, to be fair.
it was pretty good, but I thought the England-Netherlands game, the overall performance was fantastic. And the combination of Shearer and Sheringham up front was just sublime. Really was.
Is that the game? Didn't Gaza score an incredible goal in that one too? Was that the game?
No, it was the Scotland game. He scored his best goal.
No, the Scotland game was that goal was fantastic. I was happy to say I managed to recreate that in a match a few weeks later. You know, but hey.
there's another thing about Venables. There's that classic photo of Dave Mackay grabbing that Kerr, I think he called him,
Billy Bremner,
by the shirt, the scruff of his shirt,
Lifting him up.
and there's a Spurs player coming towards them, and it's Venables. He's right there. Oh, that's Terry Venables in that classic photo, you know.